Blade has come out as the new leader of the vampires, here to give the world to the vampires and kill all the humans, seemingly. When we last left off in Blood Hunt number 1, Blade was stabbing a sword through Stephen Strange's back. Let's get into it with Doctor Strange issue 15. Stephen gasps as Blade's sword pierces his back. The Daywalker has been talking about who was behind the vampire cult known as the Structure that was taking over the world. "It's me," Blade hisses in Stephen's ear, while Clea stares in shock from across the room. "Let him go," Clea demands, her human form shifting before his eyes. "Never fear, I have no intention of letting him die," Blade says as he bites down into Strange's neck. Clea rises into the air, magic swirling around her as she begins to cast a spell, but Blade holds up his hand, stopping the spell from even reaching him. "How are you stopping my spell? You're no mage, Daywalker!" Clea shouts in anger, but Blade continues to smile, throwing Stephen across the room. "Oh, Clea, you have no idea. A Sorcerer Supreme's blood has the taste of drinking the world." Blade laughs, and Clea grabs a hold of Stephen, trying to help him, but Blade draws his swords, rushing forward. "Attend to your own safety, Clea Strange!" he shouts as she whirls around, casting magic at him. "Attend to yours, Daywalker!" Blade throws his swords, blocking and deflecting powerful spells. He pushes forward, the blades sparking off the magical shield that Clea throws up. "What manner of swords are those?" she demands, and Blade smiles again, explaining that they were forged in Atlantis for an order of hunters whose purpose was to hunt down rogue magicians. They forged blades that can kill even the canniest sorcerers, cut through enchantments and protect them from dark spells and hexes, Blade says as he swings at Clea. She leaps over the strike. "They wait to drink the blood of mages once again," Blade hisses. Clea waves her hands, magic swirling around her. "So enamored with blades you are, then drown in them," she says as she casts a storm of swords, the magic blades rising out of the ground. But Blade manages to slip around them and throw a sword at Clea. She catches it, turning it on him. "A foolish mistake. I'm not limited to magic, Daywalker. I am Warlord born. I can kill with anything I can fill my hands with," she says as they cross swords. "Why, Blade? Stephen has only ever been your friend. You have battled vampires together." As he presses his attack, Blade explains that his plans have spanned thousands of years. Loosing the vampire hordes and defeating the Avengers was merely the beginning. "In order to achieve my long-desired aims, Earth's Sorcerer Supreme must be dealt with. I must pull the fangs of the Montesi formula," Blade says as Clea dodges another of his strikes, but Clea promises that they can still assemble the formula. "Oh, I believe you, but I also know that you will now give pause to using the spell, now that your greatest love is also a vampire. Any spell that eradicates all vampires will also kill him." Blade motions to where Stephen is rising once more, now a creature of the night. "Look at what I've made of Stephen Strange!" Stephen snarls, rushing at Clea, now fully under the sway of Blade. Clea steps back, casting the Crimson Bands of Sidorak spell, holding Stephen still while Blade continues to gloat. "Can you cast the Montesi formula now? Could you do it knowing that you're going to kill the one that you love?" Clea glares at the hero, now turned villain. "I will see you dead!" She snaps at him, and Blade shrugs, sheathing his weapons. "Perhaps, but it would not be the first time that I've died." He orders his blood coven to bring him home, disappearing in a swirl of light. Clea looks back at Stephen, who is still struggling against the bands to reach her. She knows that she needs Stephen's help, that he is currently a mindless beast. Suddenly she knows what she must do, reaching into Stephen's very spirit. "I will separate your body from your mind. Brace yourself, my love, because it's going to hurt," Clea says as she reaches into Stephen's soul, pulling free his essence. Stephen's spirit floats there for a moment, staring at his monstrous body. "Horary ghosts, this is what has become of me," he whispers as he stares at his vampire body and looks to Clea, explaining that they still need to assemble the spell and stop the vampires, regardless of whether it will kill Stephen Strange, but Clea disagrees. This is what he wants. He wants us to waste time scrambling for the spell and arguing over whether or not to use it. Blade believes that he has neutralized us, but he is wrong. We cannot win by doing what he expects of us. We must save the world, and we must save you. Clea tells her love, and Steven ponders for a moment before nodding his head. All right, we must join forces with the other heroes. Blade believes to have broken us, scattered. It is up to us to show him how wrong he is. As if on cue, there's a banging at the front door of the sanctum. Stephen Strange, open up! Tigra shouts, Miles and Hunter's Moon standing behind her. Tigra steps in surprise as Steven's spirit pushes through the door. Ah, Tigra, welcome! As the heroes begin to confer, they are unaware that another spirit is watching them. The spirit of Victor Strange has his eyes on the vampire body that no longer has a soul or a mind within. Now over in Amazing Spider-Man 49, we see what Spider-Man is doing during these events. On the Upper East Side, Kareem walks into the darkened bodega. Rabbit, where are you at? How long does it take to shake down a bodega? Kareem shouts, but White Rabbit calls to him from somewhere in the building. He follows the sound of her voice to the apartments above and steps into the dark apartment. You okay? Someone giving you trouble? Kareem asks as he walks in beside her. He stops as he sees Rabbit standing there, blood leaking out of her mouth and a shadowy figure standing behind her. Oh no, he's given me something much more, Rabbit hisses. A short while away, Spider-Man is working. The sun has been blacked out and the vampires have risen up. He swings through the city trying to protect the innocent people from the vampire hordes. He webs a couple of the vampires to an alleyway wall, shouting for the people to run. Taking a quick breather, he glances down at his cell phone as it begins to buzz. He doesn't recognize the number, but it's someone asking Peter to get Spider-Man to help them. Quickly, Spidey swings to the address given and is surprised to find Kareem waiting for him. Yo, you actually came! Kareem says with joy, and Spidey lands on a lamppost looking down at the thug. Kareem? You texted Peter's phone? Spidey asks, and Kareem nods, explaining that they got the number from Tombstone, and they were told to text it to try and get a hold of Spider-Man if they needed him. All right, I'm out. I'm not dealing with you guys. Spidey says with a sigh and prepares to swing away, but Kareem shouts to him, Wait! I need your help, man! Really! White Rabbit's in trouble. White Rabbit? That changes everything. I didn't realize that this was about the woman who routinely tries to stab me with a carrot! Spidey snaps, but Kareem tries to explain to Spidey what happened, explaining that since the vampires are attacking, he can't get a hold of anyone else in the crew. So you called me. Spidey sighs and Kareem nods. You're a hero, man! You help people and Rabbit needs help, Kareem says, and Spidey stares at him for a moment before sighing and nodding. All right, fine. What do you got? He asks, and Kareem leads him to the apartment building where Rabbit was attacked, and he shows him the stakes that he collected. Wooden stakes, they kill vampires, Kareem explains, and Spidey nods. I'm aware how vampires work. Kareem hands Spidey the stakes, explaining that Rabbit was bit and is a bloodsucker now. Wait, do you want me to help Rabbit by staking her through the heart? Spidey asks, and Kareem looks at him in shock. No, man, what? The vampire that got her is still in there. You stake him through the heart, and anyone that he's bit turns back into human. That's how it works. I Googled it. Kareem tells him, and Spidey sighs, nodding again. I know how vampires work. He takes the stake, slipping into the building. He orders Kareem to wait for him outside, and then he slips into the bodega, moving cautiously. Suddenly, something scooters by him, and Spidey yells in fear, but he looks down, seeing that it's only rats. Yo, you okay? Kareem calls out. It was just some rats, Spidey calls back. But there's a moment of silence from outside. All that for some rats? Kareem calls out, and Spidey glances back at the door of the bodega. Maybe they were vampire rats. I don't know. Shut up! Spidey tells Kareem, and then he turns as his spider sense kicks in and he ducks under an attack from a vampire White Rabbit. Little spider, I can hear your tasty little heartbeat thumping away. Did you come all this way just to quench my thirst? She asks, and Spidey ducks under another one of her attacks. Suddenly, Kareem is there, slamming into Rabbit with a shopping cart, pushing her into the storage closet, which he promptly locks. I don't know how long this is gonna hold her, he says as he turns back to Spidey, shouting for him to go to apartment 3B. Spider-Man makes his way upstairs, finding the apartment door still open. Inside, he sees the curtains blowing in the draft of the open window. His Spidey sense then goes crazy as the vampire charges out of the shadows, hissing at him. The monster stops short, and Spidey raises a stake and looks down to see that the man has chained himself to a radiator. Get away from me! He shouts, pleading with Spidey as he glances back at the chain. Somebody got here before me? Who chained you up? Spidey asks as he readies his stake, and the man looks at him in shock. I did, you idiot! He then sees the stake and a look of relief crosses his face. Thank God, just do it! He closes his eyes, but Spider-Man is confused. The man explains that he was bitten by one of his patrons, that he locked himself in here so that he wouldn't hurt anyone, but White Rabbit heard him and came to investigate. Before he could stop himself, he bit her and turned her as well. Tears flow from his eyes as the man drops to the ground. Just do it. It's okay, he whispers, but Spider-Man helps him to his feet, putting away the stake. This isn't what I do, okay? I know people, experts on this stuff. I'm gonna try to help you. Try at least. The man begins to thank Spider-Man, but a stake pierces his chest from behind. No! Spidey says as the man turns to dust before his eyes, revealing Kareem behind him. We got him. Nice work, Spidey, Kareem says, and Spidey begins to shout, yelling that Kareem didn't need to harm the man, that they could have cured him and White Rabbit. But Kareem shakes his head, motioning to his neck, where there are 2 bite marks that are now disappearing. Sorry, hero. I was running out of time. When I found White Rabbit, I didn't get away unscathed, Kareem reveals, and Spider-Man grabs him by the collar, lifting him up, promising to bring him to the police. For what? Killing a pile of dust? Kareem asks as he glances down at the ashes and the clothing on the floor. The door suddenly bursts open and White Rabbit runs in. What happened, Kareem? I didn't hurt you, did I? She asks, dazed and confused. But Kareem shakes his head, turning back to Spidey. This is a war, Spider-Man. No one's gonna care about a few casualties. Spider-Man shakes his head, dropping Kareem. He then heads out the window, looking down into the streets, the vampire attack having grown, people running in fear. Spider-Man leaps down to help where he can, trying to save as many lives as he can. Later, he leaps into an alleyway to save another person, but as he tosses the vampire away, his spider sense goes crazy. He turns to the sound of growls, seeing lizards stepping out of the shadows. Now Spider-Man has a whole new set of problems to deal with. And that concludes Doctor Strange issue 15 and Amazing Spider-Man number 49. The story of Blood Hunt will be continuing, so make sure you like and subscribe for your weekly updates right here.